Breaking news first right now here on the WHAS11 team. Hello, everybody. I'm Doug Proffitt. We're talking about a mass shooting that has happened in northern Indiana tonight that's left 2 police officers injured. 5 people shot inside a supermarket there. 3 are confirmed dead tonight. The mass shooting confirmed by Elkhart, Indiana police. This is up near South Bend, Indiana, just to the east of Chicago. Police first got the call there before 7 o'clock tonight. 3 people died in the shooting, including the suspect. 2 police officers were among those shot and injured. They are now considered stable and recovering in the hospital. The shooting happened inside the Martin supermarket store there, just east of downtown Elkhart. ABC 7 News in Chicago says the suspect was confronted outside the supermarket and was killed by police in a shootout. Indiana Governor Mike Braun posting on X that he was in communication with state and local law enforcement and praying for the families involved. Also new tonight, almost 5 years since her death, the man accused of a carjacking that led to the death of a 17-year-old girl sentenced today. Michael DeWitt was out of jail on bail for just 1 week before the crash in 2021. DeWitt admitted to carjacking someone at gunpoint in Simpsonville, Kentucky and Shelby County. He then took off and later that night was driving the wrong way down Dixie Highway in Louisville when he hit and killed 17-year-old Madeline Trout. Today, he was sentenced on federal carjacking charges. He will be spending 20 years in prison with no parole, with an additional 5 years probation when released. DeWitt is still facing state murder charges. And just days after being pardoned by President Donald Trump, a man from Indiana was shot by officers during a traffic stop. Michael Huddle was killed last night in Jasper County, Indiana. Sheriff's deputies say it happened when they attempted to stop Huddle. He had allegedly got into a fight with a sheriff's deputy while he had a gun. That deputy fired, shooting and killing Huddle. Huddle was sentenced to 6 months after pleading guilty to entering the U.S. Capitol on January 6. No decision today for the Highlands Bar in Louisville that's been in the news a lot. We're talking about Baxter's 942 on Bardstown Road. The bar could get their liquor license denied again now by the state of Kentucky. Their case is up before the Kentucky Alcohol Beverage Control Board. After a lengthy hearing today, we've learned a judge did not make a decision today, saying there's just too much evidence to look over and weigh. Louisville's ABC board denied the bar's license last year, saying there's been repeated acts of violence around the bar. We've still got snow around on the ground right now tonight, and that's helping keep those temperatures really cold again tonight. But we're talking about a massive warm-up on the way the end of the week, and Ben is here now with me. And Ben, 60 degrees, that is a massive warm-up coming from where we've been.
It sure is, and it's a possibility later on this week, Doug. But with warmer weather comes wetter conditions as well, as our next system looks like a pretty good soaker right before the weekend. For now, though, clear out there and low temperatures tonight. A little bit chilly around the freezing mark. Upper 20s and lower 30s, and highs tomorrow, next several days around 50 degrees. There you go. Friday looks like our warmest day, but we are going to be tracking the return of some rainfall across the area. We'll show you what to expect as we time out that system coming up.
Thank you, Ben. Right now, all new since 6 on the WHAS 11 night team. More street racing cars have now been added to the Metro Police impound lot. 5 more arrests last night after one undercover officer witnesses the display right down Main Street in the middle of downtown Louisville. A detective in an unmarked police cruiser saw them traveling about 6 blocks from Floyd and Main to Belvedere, 5th and Main, down by the Humana Tower and the Belvedere. WHAS 11 night team's Clarice Shaley and photojournalist Levi Hammer will have the story coming up here on the night team. We'll bring you this new development coming up here in just a little bit, so stay with us. More news now, moving on here. A JCPS student will be criminally charged after making a false call to Moore High School on the outer loop. Metro Police say just before 10 this morning, officers were dispatched to a report of hearing active gunshots at Moore High School. That was not true. JCPS said authorities quickly knew that the call was fake and that there was no threat to Moore High School. Officers cleared the school as a precaution. The district said a mental health team is available to talk with students who may still need it. JCPS also dismissed other social media claims that immigration officers, ICE agents, were actually at Moore High School today. The district said those reports are also false. All new on the night team, the tragic scene outside Antioch High School in Nashville last Wednesday when a 17-year-old student opened fire, killing a 16-year-old student and injuring another student there at that high school. New tonight, a Louisville mother who attended that high school outside of Nashville is starting a safety campaign following the tragedy. WHAS 11 night team's Alex Dederer and photojournalist Emma Gefter learned she's using JCPS as the example.
10 shots fired in 17 seconds in the cafeteria of Antioch High School in Nashville. A student opened fire in the school's cafeteria less than a week ago, killing another student.
When they mentioned where it happened in the cafeteria, I literally could see the cafeteria in my mind and just imagining like that atrocity happening while I'm eating lunch.
A tragedy that hits too close to home for JCPS parent Carrie Mitchell of Louisville.
I went to Antioch High School from 2000 to 2004, and never did I think 20 years later my worst nightmare would be coming true.
A tragedy that made Mitchell want to help even from 200 miles away.
I just felt so much empathy for them.
So she turned her feelings into action. She wrote to Nashville's school district superintendent over 20 times, using JCPS's Evolve Weapons Detection System as a blueprint for enhancing safety in schools. And today, Mitchell got the update she had been waiting for.
Her deputy officer called me personally to thank me, let me know that Antioch High School, they're going to start back this week, and they do have metal detectors put in.
The Evolve systems were installed at Antioch last Friday, just 2 days after the shooting.
My hope and my dream is that every public school gets some type of security detection system.
The weapons detection systems have been in all JCPS high schools since last school year, and in the next several weeks they'll be installed in all of JCPS middle schools.
In a statement, a JCPS spokesperson says, quote, "Since implementing the systems, we have seen a drastic reduction in the number of guns found in our schools. The systems are serving as a deterrent."
I feel safe that my kids can go to a school and learn and not have to worry about what weapons are being brought.
A feeling of safety Mitchell hopes all parents will feel one day. In Louisville, Alex Dederer, the WHAS 11 night team, on your side.
As a footnote here, as we reported in December, the FTC sued the Evolve company, saying they exaggerated how their machines really work. The FTC filed a motion in 2024 saying the scanners failed in several instances to detect weapons while flagging harmless items like laptops or binders. As part of their settlement, Evolve will allow schools to cancel their subscriptions without charge. The investigation into the 17-year-old shooter in Nashville, by the way, shows that he had a large digital footprint. Investigators believe he might have been in contact with a 15-year-old who carried out a shooting last month in Madison, Wisconsin. It's believed they were following each other on social media. They also discovered the Nashville shooter had a Pinterest board dedicated to notorious killers. He allegedly posted 2 documents, which is lengthy, more than 280 pages, on what police called non-traditional websites. The teenager allegedly wrote also about white supremacy. This is highlighting the importance of making sure your children are using the internet safely. The National Institute of Justice says internet and social media plays a role in radicalization, like what we've seen in Nashville. They found young people who spend a lot of time online, specifically on websites like YouTube, had a higher risk of being exposed to hate. And according to experts at the Cornell Social Media Lab, the best way to help kids navigate social media is not an outright ban, but instead a slow, deliberate introduction to apps. They recommend teaching how social media can be a tool and how to use it age appropriately. Now back to our top story, all news since 6. We're talking about street racing cars have been confiscated and added to the Metro Police impound lot. There were 5 more arrests last night, Sunday night, after one undercover officer witnessed the display going down Main Street in downtown Louisville. The detective in an unmarked cruiser saw them traveling about 6 blocks from Floyd and Main down to Belvedere at 5th and Main by the Humana Tower in the Belvedere. WHAS 11 night teams Clarice Shaley and photojournalist Levi Hammer found action is being taken to put stricter punishment on the violators.
Photos of confiscated cars. Metro Police seizing them from Main Street in downtown Louisville after a parade of street racing right in front of one officer. Take a look at this car now in the impound lot. The license plate says no cop. The newly elected Metro Council member of downtown applauds the move by police and the 5 arrests police made.
The streets belong to everybody. When somebody's endangering other people and themselves in the process, it's appropriate to take action, and I'm glad they did.
Police say a detective in an unmarked car watched Sunday night around 7 as the suspects violated the city's street racing ordinance. According to LMPD, the vehicles were revving from light to light, traveling nearly 6 blocks west, starting at Floyd in Maine and ending near the Humana Tower at Belvedere, 5th Street in Maine. Units were brought to the area to make the arrests. I asked Ken Herndon about the crackdown on street racing.
I understand that is a tactic to go ahead and sit there and wait for it to develop and then come in, and I think that's also appropriate.
Herndon says this strip of Main Street isn't too busy around the time of the incident Sunday evening unless there is an event, and he's happy no one was hurt.
I want to crush it. I want you to watch it. I want everybody else to see it so they'll stop putting our people in danger.
State Representative Jason Nemes telling us last year he is introducing legislation allowing car crushing for violators of street racing. He tells me today he plans to file the bill when they return for the full session in February. Metro Police have hailed the street racing ordinance in the past for proactive policing, mostly in finding weapons. 2 guns were recovered in this arrest, one from a 19-year-old passenger of one of the cars. In Louisville, Clarice Shaley, WHAS 1119 on your side.
Those vehicles, by the way, are now at the police impound lot where they will stay for 6 months for first-time offenders. Violators have a fine of $1,000 to pay up, and that's just the base amount with it increasing each different offense. Tomorrow, the JCPS School Board is expected to talk about restoring some school bus routes. These restorations would bring back school buses for all students at Coleridge-Taylor Elementary School, Young Elementary School, and Johnson Traditional Middle School. But at Louisville's DuPont Manual, Butler Traditional, and Male High School, the restoration would only apply to students on the free and reduced lunch program. If approved by the school board tomorrow night, the route restorations would begin in mid-March. But because of how late in the school year that is, a school district spokesperson said students won't be able to transfer schools this year. Even if their bus is restored, we'll have coverage on the night team for you tomorrow. And now to Mars. Today, students at Christian Academy of Louisville on English Station Road got the lesson of a lifetime. Late this afternoon, the rocketry team got to show their latest project to NASA astronauts. The team of 12 students built a rocket for the National Student Launch Competition. This is just one step they have to pass in order to compete in the actual challenge. Today, the NASA team visiting Christian Academy got to give the students a couple of pointers before learning if they make the cut. Ethan Zumbrunnen created the club when he entered high school with this exact competition in his mind.
There's no way I could do all this without them. And I say I started it. It really wasn't just me, you know. But being here at this point, I mean, that was like my ultimate goal when we started, so it feels pretty good.
There he has it, one foot in the door with NASA. They have one final benchmark to hit before they learn if they will make it to the big show in Alabama this spring.